According to ancient Babylonian texts, the gods and goddesses of that time, which are still worshipped today, were connected to deities and spirits. The spirits were called the Shiddim. In ancient Hebrew and Jewish language, they also refer to ancient spirits as the Shiddim. The difference is the Babylonians refer to these spirits as both malevolent as well as good, whereas the ancient Hebrew or Jewish language refers to these as demons. However, when you look at the root word of the word Shiddim, in Hebrew it is the word shud, which means to devastate, act violently, to lay waste, etc., which matches the Babylonians' definition of being malevolent, to bring destruction and to act violently. If the ancient Babylonians and the Hebrew language is both referring to the ancient spirits as the Shiddim, and the root word of this word is associated with many negative connotations, then this is proof that the spirits behind the ancient gods and goddesses that are still worshipped today are in fact demons. Furthermore, Shiddim is translated as being a demon or demoniac when you translate it into Greek. In the Hebrew, Deuteronomy and Psalms say this. Deuteronomy 32 verse 17 says, quote, "They sacrificed to Shiddim, not to God, to gods they did not know, new gods that had come," end quote. And in Psalms 106, 36 through 37, it states, quote, "They served their idols, which became a trap for them. They even sacrificed their sons and their daughters to Shiddim," end quote. When these verses were translated into the first Greek translation, which is the Septuagint translation, they had to find the appropriate word to translate Shiddim. Since the word Shiddim comes from the root word shud, which means to lay waste and act violently, it would describe perfectly a malevolent spirit. So they chose the word demonia, or demon. When considering this information, we have to be careful when pursuing other ancient philosophies and ancient religions and the gods and the goddesses that are associated with these ancient beliefs. Because as we've just seen historically, these spirits are referred to as demons. And if you follow them and worship them, no matter if they seem like they are of the light, they are still demonic in nature. The Bible also confirms this concept by saying that even Satan can masquerade as an angel of light. This is also confirmed when you look at almost every ancient civilization, whether it's the Assyrians, the Sumerians, the Egyptians, the Aztecs, etc., and practically every other ancient culture. Their gods and their goddesses that they worshipped have wreaked havoc on their subjects and their people if they do not get their way. Many of these deities often required sacrifices, some of human origin, in order to appease them and make them happy. And unfortunately, these would require young ones as well. We see this in the Bible with the god of Moloch, which God forbade his people, the Israelites, to worship because of the inhumane practices involved with the worship of this deity. Knowing this information, why would one want to explore a relationship with a god or a goddess who has tormented their subjects in the past, requiring sacrifices that are inhumane and offerings to appease them? You can't pick and choose which part of a god or a goddess or an ancient belief you want to believe in or be involved in, for their practices, their wants, and their desires of their subjects will remain throughout history as well as this present day. So again, we must be careful when searching for spirituality outside of Jesus Christ. We have to be careful with what contracts and relationships we are entering into with these deities, because even though it may seem innocent at first, they will always eventually require more of you than what you're willing to give.